if you've never negotiated in Mbare, then you've never structured a deal. Because that's where, like street level negotiations happen.
Welcome to Finance Unplugged, where we speak about all things finance, innovation, and community impact. I'm your host, Milena, and today I am joined by co-founder of Wiremit, Mr. Brian Manyao. Mr. Brian, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day to join us here today.
Thank you, Milena, for having me.
So how are you feeling today? Are you more of a behind-the-scenes guy, or do you prefer to be in front of the cameras like you are today every once in a while?
Yeah, well, I'm feeling very well. Thank you, but I'm a behind-the-scenes guy.
Yeah, no, most CEOs would rather be behind the scenes.
We try and be in the engine somewhere working. That's what we do.
What's one thing about you that people wouldn't expect just by, for example, looking at your LinkedIn profile?
Well, that's a difficult one, but I don't know.
Anything interesting that if someone were to hear it, they'll be like, wow, really?
No, I'm just an indoors person. Try to keep to myself most of the time. I read a lot, and I love traveling, and enjoying different cultures and atmospheres. That's what I do.
What are some places that you've traveled to?
I've been to so many places, mostly Africa, the Middle East, Dubai. I've been the UK, America, in some parts of East Africa, West Africa, I've been to, mostly Southern Africa.
You are quite an avid traveler. Yeah.
Yeah, we try and experience other cultures, and that's how we learn. Yes.
So before Wiremit and finance, there was a young Brian. And from what I hear, even then, there was a little hustle spirit there. So what was your childhood like growing up in Zimbabwe?
Well, it was interesting. We did a lot of selling back then. My mother would sell anything. I remember one trip, I think you might not know, but many people would know, there was this thing called the Blue Train that used to go to South Africa, shuttle between Joburg and Harare. Mm-hmm. We went there and we were selling, the patterned doils for the houses.
Oh, wow.
Yes, and I was very young. I think it was like early 90s when we did that. It was an interesting experience. I was young, but I was taught how to sell. And that's how the story began. That's how the journey began, yeah.
Oh, wow. I read somewhere that you started off by selling freezers. Is this true?
Of course. Freezers were the in thing back in Chitungwiza growing up. We would sell freezers, we would sell drinks. We actually had like a market. Those that are familiar with Rua, we had a market just by the corner from our house where we sold anything, vegetables, freezers, you name it. That's where most of the passion and the drive started.
I can imagine. Because when you're in grade 4, you're not thinking about selling anything. You just want to go to school and just spend all your money in the time.
Yeah, I understand. But, it also stems from your parents, what they instill in you, the values that they instill in you. Mm-hmm. And, the way they show you that this is the way. We survived off selling, though, we had their jobs. My mom was a teacher. My dad was in insurance. They had their jobs, but they still had a business. So that's when the drive to do business came from. Yeah.
That's very inspiring. Were you the type to save your money, or you just rush to the touch shop?
I would spend it.
As you was at that age, on sweets.
I would spend it, sweets, drinks, anything.
So what lessons from that small hustle stuck with you today as a business leader?
So you really need to remain dedicated and focused. I think those are the key lessons. And, for you to grow your money, you have to invest it in something. So buying things at a lower price and then selling them at a higher price, getting a profit and then putting it aside and growing your money became the key lessons from all these little things that we were doing growing up. Yes.
Do you think your early exposure to street level entrepreneurship gave you an edge later on in life?
It did, definitely. I remember a time when my mother was not available. So she had a friend who then took me to Mbare and Chitungwiza. You are carrying that big basket on your head and you are also negotiating with the guys in Mbare. If you've never negotiated in Mbare, then you've never structured a deal. Because that's where, like street level negotiations happen. It's like real time, it's quick, it's fast. The trucks are delivering the produce. You are there to get the best produce at the best price. So I learned a lot from that process, and we started from there. So my policy is I don't pay the listed price. I have to negotiate. Yes.
I think after this show you will need to give me some pointers because I do not know how to negotiate at all.
No, definitely. We'll show you the ropes. We'll show you the ropes.
Okay, so let's fast forward a bit. Tell us a bit about your transition from finance and banking into fintech and startups.
Okay, so the later years of my banking life, I was involved very much in digital transformation. We developed a lot of apps within the bank, and we were developing products that would suit our customers. Back in 2015, I wrote a digital transformation document for the bank, and in it were some of these businesses that we've then gone on to start. Remittances was part of the document, and that's how when I was transitioning from banking, I was like, okay, what better way than to follow my passion in finance, solving the problems that many people in the diaspora were experiencing, sending money back home, and also taking ownership of that. The remittance business is huge for Africa at large. It's a very big business. But if you look at the owners of the remittance companies that are used to send money back home, they're mostly European. So this is also a way of us taking back our power, owning the rails that our people use to send money back home. And that was the drive behind us starting Wiremit.
It was on. What did you see in the remittance space that made you say we need to build Wiremit?
The numbers are astonishing, and the problems are also great. So I'm a problem solver. So when I see a problem, I prefer to make sure that it's solved. And we got into the space to solve a number of problems: speed, efficiency, pricing, and we're doing just that.
So how would you differentiate Wiremit from all the other remittance companies that are doing the same thing?
Wiremit is very agile. Like if you go to our website right now, you see even our pricing is way out of better than anyone's. We are very agile. We are using modern rails to move our monies. We are not sticking only to traditional methods of doing business. We are tech savvy. We are in your spaces. We've got a lot of other ways that we're bringing into play for the market so that it's efficient, it's available when you need it. And also we are trying to also give back to the people that are sending money. We've got a brilliant referral program that is in place for people to send money back home. And that's how we are pushing.
How has your MBA and strategic background shaped how you operate as a CEO today?
Okay, so education is important. I think that's one value that was instilled in us by our parents. My parents made sure that I went to school. I did my ACCA, Association of Chartered Certified Accountants, and I'm a member of the body. And I went on to do my MBA, where you're now learning how to structure a business, from the human resources, the operations, the marketing, the strategy, the finance bits of it. So you are learning the full package of a business in one study program. And that has been key, because now we are operating at a global level. I did a globally recognized MBA with Harriet Watt. And now I can relate. I can go onto any platform and speak the language of money. I can speak the language of money fluently. I can speak the language of business fluently. And I am confident in what I know and what I have experienced over the years in business.
Do you find yourself leaning more into structure and systems, or that instinct when it comes to making major decisions?
It's a bit of both. Most of the times the gut leads, and then you follow with the structure. That's how I have operated for many years. If I feel something is right, I then build the structure around it and then support it.
Now.
Yes.
Okay, so Wiremit is not just another remittance company. It's redefining how people send and receive money across borders.
Yes.
You've mentioned agility, speed, and market-leading rates. How do you strike a balance between innovation and compliance?
Well, compliance is the bedrock of our business. You cannot do anything without compliance. Because remember, as a financial services business, you also report to regulators. Regulators have got certain set rules that you need to abide by. But we are fusing both the regulation in compliance with technology to come up with a process flow that works for both parties. The speed in terms of the customers, and the convenience in terms of how they can onboard onto our systems. So we've also incorporated other identity verifying tools on our platforms that will identify you in an instant, which then meets the regulatory compliance that we need to follow. So we are bringing technology and compliance together, and so far we've not had any problems.
Great. Okay, let's talk people. Every startup lives or dies by the strength of its team.
Yes.
What do you look forward building your team, especially in the early stages?
Yeah, people need to be dedicated to the vision. You cannot build anything without following the vision. So the way I see it is, when you're building a team, you have to find people that will understand the vision, and people that will also run with the vision. That is a very key and critical point. What you need to avoid is the toxic ones. You don't want a toxic member within your team, especially if you're a startup, because that's where most businesses die. You need people who will stay positive, regardless of the challenges that you face. You need a positive team that will say, oh, we've just suffered a setback, but don't worry, we have a solution. We will rise. Because remember, when you're approaching business, you are approaching business by providing a solution to somebody who needs to pay for that solution. So you need to continue to be solution-oriented, be diligent, as well as make sure that you find a team that sticks to the vision.
Absolutely. You've been open about making hiring mistakes early on. What did those moments teach you?
They taught us to be resilient. You need to keep pushing. The way things go is you are not promised a rosy path, or the path is going to be straight. No, there's going to be ups and downs. There's going to be dips. There's going to be mountains that you're going to climb. So definitely you can't expect everything to go as you expect. And there are going to be setbacks. But the way you then work around those setbacks is what sets you apart. Do you sit down and start crying? Or do you then say, no, this is an opportunity to learn, okay, this is where we've made a mistake. How best can we come back from this? And then you seek ways to then come back and then redraw. If you need to replan. If you need to re-engage. But the idea is you have to keep moving.
Really? Yeah. Absolutely. What's one setback that you've encountered, if you don't mind sharing, that you really thought would end everything, but you managed to tackle it?
So along the way, we had bad deals that happened. We lost a lot of money. So sometimes you lose money and then you sit down and say, how do I recover from this? This is thousands of dollars I'm talking about. You do a deal, people vanish with the money, and you're sitting there, you're asking yourself, okay, we've just had this blow, how are we going to do it? Yeah. And in some instances, it was actually losses because of staff members as well. But the idea is, okay, we've lost this money, we have the vision, how then do we reconcile both? So you need to find ways to keep driving the vision regardless of the setback. If we at that point and then say, now we are throwing in the towel, let's forget about it, let me go find a job or something.
In this economy.
You see, Wiremit wouldn't have been born at all. But we kept going. We found ways to make our structure better. We developed better systems. We developed better process flows to make sure that things move accordingly. Yeah.
And thank you for that, because I think Wiremit is on the right track.
Certainly, we are. We are happy with the progress so far.
So let's zoom out a bit. Beyond business goals and numbers, let's talk about legacy, purpose, and impact. How do you personally define success at this stage in your life?
Well, success for me is empowering others. I'm a Christian, so I believe so much on the foundations and the principles of the Bible. To whom much is given, much is required. So if you have been elevated to a position where you are in charge of a team, or you've got so many, like right now we've got 40 plus employees that are under us. We are responsible for so many families. So to whom much is given, much is required. We really have to continue driving the business in a very responsible manner that will ensure that there is continuity, there is growth, there is value in the community. And also we give back. Wiremit sponsors a soccer team. The idea behind that is to make sure that our teens, boys, they are not exposed to drugs. At least if we keep them busy on the soccer field, they can be occupied. And better still, some will even have opportunities to play at the biggest stage in the world. Like right now, we've got one of our young players that is now playing for SJK in Finland. His name is Prosper. He came through our program, through the Primetime Academy program, which is sponsored by Wiremit. And now he's doing well in Finland. Soon you might even see him in your UEFA Champions League. So we want that for our community as well. We are not just involved in the movement of money, but we are also involved in the community.
That's so refreshing to hear from a company, because most people are just in it for the money. They don't care about the community. They don't really care what happens to their employees as long as they're making money. So that is
True.
That is very nice to hear.
True.
What impact do you want Wiremit to have on Africa's financial future?
Well, the impact is seamless connection. We need Africa to start doing business with each other. If you look at our continent, it's very fragmented. We're trying to create a borderless financial system, which will allow you, if you are selling your wares in Zimbabwe, someone in Kenya should be able to pay for those wares. You courier them to them. If somebody's in East Africa, West Africa, wherever, North Africa, we want that intra-African trade to happen. But that can only happen when we have solid financial systems. If you look at other European countries, you've got big, major online retailers that are selling goods. Shipping is instant, payment is instant, everything is instant. But in our case, it's like you're beating a drum for the money to get to the other side, so those things are not what we want. What we want is to create a seamless environment, platforms where you can interact with each other, regardless of how many miles or kilometers you are away from each other. That's our vision.
Yeah, we do have a lot of gaps to fill in Africa, definitely.
100%. Yeah.
Do you see Wiremit growing into something bigger than remittances, maybe insurance, savings, investing, or?
And definitely, the goal is to become a Pan-African bank. That's the goal. And all these things will sit under that. Insurance, savings, you name it. That's the goal. And we are definitely on track to do that. We've got teams working on licenses. We've got teams working in different jurisdictions to try and bring it together. And I'm sure in the next few years, the dream will happen.
No, awesome.
Yeah.
What advice would you give to a young hustler out there who's selling freezers, for example, or airtime? What would you tell the younger version of yourself if you were listening right now?
Yeah, I would say the number one key thing is focus and consistency. That's what you need. That's a big part of the recipe. You need to remain focused. Many things will happen where, your friends are calling you, let's go play here, let's go do this and things like that. But if you have a vision and you're driven, you need to say, okay, this is my time to play. This is my time to work. This is my time to study. You need to be able to bring all that together and balance it and remain focused on the goal. Write things down. Learn as much as you can. I live by a motto that says, be so good you can't be ignored. The reason why I live by that is I realize that people will naturally gravitate towards excellence. So if you're excellent in your field, the phone won't stop ringing. That's a fact.
So,
Yeah.
So before we wrap up, let's have a little fun with a quick rapid fire round. I'm just gonna ask you some random questions. So you said you like to read.
Yes.
What's your favorite business book?
Business book, 0 to 100. Yes, that's a very good book, and I would recommend it for all the entrepreneurs that are there. There are very key lessons there that you can learn, especially about scaling your business. Yeah, that's a very good book.
And what's one thing that instantly calms you down after a stressful day?
Music. Music does it. I love music.
What's your favorite song?
No, let's not go there.
We're not gonna judge you. So So, Mr. Brand, this was such an insightful and inspiring conversation. Thank you so much for sharing your journey with us. And we'll definitely be watching you, and we wish you and everyone at Wiremit all the best.
Thank you very much for having me.